Hi, I'm Ruth Miller, and you may know me as the editor of the Library of Hidden Knowledge series. And I've written a few books of my own, which I'd like to talk with you about, one in particular today. It's possibly my favorite. I call it Mary's Power. The subtitle is Embracing the Divine Feminine as the Age of Invasion and Empire Ends. And part of why I wrote this book was because I went for a visit to Chartres Cathedral. And I happened to do that right about the time that that incredible book came out by Daniel Brown that everyone was talking about. Remember that one that was about Mary Magdalene and Jesus and all that good stuff? Well, people keep asking me about it, so I went and found out what was going on. And what I discovered at Chartres Cathedral is that the original cathedral didn't have a single crucifix except in the Stations of the Cross. Everything else was about the women. And I love to go through the Bible concordance. Part of my role has been as a pulpit minister for the last 20 years. So I've often had to go through the Bible and make sense out of things. And I discovered that in the concordance, in the New Testament, there are 6 different women named Mary. Now, Mary in Hebrew is Miriam. If you go back to the Old Testament, there aren't a whole lot of Miriams. And in fact, there's only one. Miriam, the sister of Moses. Miriam, the one who followed that basket when it went into the river and made sure that the Pharaoh's daughter used Moses' real mom as his wet nurse. And Miriam, who led the people in their dance of celebration when they crossed the Red Sea safely. Miriam was a leader among her people. But during that time that they were in Sinai Desert, she and her brother had a bit of a miscommunication, and some people would say they had a few fights. In the process, Miriam got discounted, and her role and her power was hidden. And that power remained hidden for thousands of years. Now, she wasn't the first person to get that power. And in fact, if we look back in the way back early times, you can see that figures of the feminine were more important than any other thing. In fact, for about 20,000 years, prior to about 5,000 or 3,000 BC, the pattern of life, I'm going to read it a little, the pattern of life that we see in these ancient sites remains fairly consistent. In early Anatolia, the cycle of one life form giving up its own life to another, as well as the cycle of the year, are celebrated in annual rituals, ceremonial art, and stories. And we can see this from Hopi land in southwest North America to rural Tibet in Asia, and from Finland south to Botswana. Similar stories are sold, and some of them date as early as 20,000 BC. In those stories, women and men have separate lives, but equal power. And women have a kind of power that's based on intuition and their connection with the land. Men have a power that's based on their muscle and their connection with the light of the sun. That power is recognized fully until just about 5,135 years ago, which happens to be the beginning of this age that Mayans tell us is ending here and now, very, very soon. It's the end of 2012, and this age is coming to an end with it. Now, we know that this idea of women having power and women being part of the spiritual life of a community continued through. We can see it in Ireland and Scotland today. We can see it in the power of the Queen in the Old Testament. We can see it in many, many ways. And here I have in this book a catacomb illustration from the 1st century where a woman is serving communion. And we've been told that wasn't so. But in the old days, in the early church, women had power. We went through a time then of disempowerment, and the last 2,000 years, up until the late 1900s, was about disempowering women. Not because we're not okay, but because we have a power that we need to bring forth so that the age of invasion and empire can truly be over. Thank you.